on the inside, she got the scoop on the ones to watch, on the ones that's hot. No one can do it quite like Caroline.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Hobby and welcome to my show Get Real from the Music City, capital of the world. In each episode, I get the real story from the most inspiring, interesting people in Nashville, Tennessee. I have done everything in the music entertainment industry. I was in the trio Stealing Angels with 2 top 50 country charting songs, a finalist and runner-up on season 22 and season 24 of The Amazing Race. You can currently catch me on CMT's hit show, I Love Kelly Pickler. I am an entertainment news correspondent and host for the TV show Nashville Insider, and my podcast, Get Real with Caroline Hobby, was featured on iTunes' New and Noteworthy and charted on iTunes' Top 200 podcast. I'm also married to the smoking hot front man, Michael Hobby, of the #1 chart-topping band, 1,000 Horses. So buckle up and get ready to get real with me, Caroline Hobby. Welcome to my show.
So excited, I'm about to interview Maddie Tae. I love these girls. Talk about empowered women. That is them. We're gonna talk about everything, real life, touring, how they do it all, what their soul's calling is, how they found it. Maddie Tae, oh my God, I've been wanting to interview them forever. Hi, girl. How you doing? This is our
I'm
first
just drinking
podcast.
coffee. Wait, this is a cute mug too.
I really need a day between Saturday and Sunday. Why haven't they
Hi,
invented that?
nice to see you.
What's up? That should totally be a thing. Like, hey, can we create a day between?
Maybe
a
a Maddie Tae day? I'm gonna take my
Yes,
too.
totally. And
Yeah,
it's just a day of
sorry.
relaxation. I know, just
We're
get
lounging.
cozy. This is a comfy couch.
Love this. Oh, hey, you know what?
Yo, did you film that? Was you gonna go down that slow mo?
We really need a day. I watched it on slow mo.
It's really Monday-ish today, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Spilling coffee
It's
and
Monday.
everything. Oh, how are you doing?
So good, you guys.
I'm so excited. This is our first podcast. We've never done one.
yeah.
But it was like one of my goals this year to do some podcasting. Are you serious? Yes.
And I get to be your first one?
I know. And I listen to yours all the time. Like right before I get on flights, it's like I haven't downloaded the new ones yet because I'm not flying out till like Friday. But the new ones I'm going to be getting on Thursday night, making sure that I have them, girl.
Oh my gosh.
I listen. The last ones were Mallory Irvin and Jessica.
Just Southern. I don't even know her real name. Just
Southern.
Payne.
Yeah.
But just Southern.
Totally. But yeah, I just
something.
listened to those and I loved them. You do really well at your job. Like this is
you.
the perfect thing for you to do.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate
real.
that,
I
guys.
feel like as women, we like should do that more. Like remind each other, like you're doing a really good job.
Well, and that is, I'm so glad you bring that up.
Yeah.
Because I have been on a soul searching mission lately, just trying to figure out like what am I contributing to the world?
Right.
What can I bring to people that would inspire them, that I have access to? And I'm like, okay, I'm already doing these podcasts, interviewing the most interesting people, but really what my fan base is women, most of them.
Totally.
And they want to
Same with
know
ours,
about empowered women.
Right,
Oh,
right.
absolutely. And how you do what you do and how you like find your calling.
And the real life struggles of what looks like empowered women, like the behind
Yeah.
the scenes of what it takes to become.
Yeah, because Instagram, it's like,
Oh, talk about
she's so
Instagram.
perfect and lovely, and it's like, wait, no, she has terrible days. Sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, girl, you are not cute. What is going on
Yeah,
here?
I
Like,
know.
get it together.
I know. I feel that way all the time.
Yeah.
The other day, this is when I realized that my audience wants to hear about real life women stuff.
Totally.
Because the other day, I posted this video on Instagram, and I pretty much vacuum every day. And I was just
me
like
too, girl.
vacuuming in my underwear. And I posted a picture of it. But then I thought to myself, I'm about to make every other person feel like total shit if they don't feel like they're vacuuming in their underwear for their man or whatever. Because
totally.
because everyone's like, oh my God.
Like trying to be sexy on
Yes.
chores. Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I have to show the other half of this. And I sat down and I showed like all my fat rolls because I've gained 8 pounds.
You hush.
Just like recently I've gained 8 pounds, which is totally fine, but I was just like, here's the real life of vacuuming your underwear.
It jiggles. It's not right and tight.
I love that. And I got 200 messages in 2 hours. I've never gotten that in my whole life. So I was like, this is what people want to talk about, real life stuff.
I'm so with you. Like I love like the surface stuff is so boring. Like I love just like getting in the soul. Like Tae had this. How did you explain it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've known Maddie for 7 years. We've known each other for 7 years.
How old are you guys? Because y'all are so young and so wise.
22, but we'll be 23.
So we
in July,
met,
September.
we were like 15, 16.
Yeah.
Like
She was 15, I was 16.
I was
Yeah.
about to turn 16. And you know, we've known each other for 7 years, but it's like every day we learn something new about each other because that's just how it is. It's basically like a marriage.
Oh, for sure.
Beyond
And
marriage,
when,
really.
yeah, so
Totally.
every day you just like learn a new quirk or learn a new whatever. And so it's taken Maddie probably like several years, because I like to think of myself as a unique bird.
Okay, how so? Explain that. What does that mean?
She makes fun of me because I call myself unique and not straight.
No, she called herself weird, and I said, you're unique, you're not weird.
Oh,
unique.
and tell me why. What makes you unique?
I'm a very private, like, even though what I do for a living or a career is like very
Public.
vulnerable and open and public, I'm still a really private person.
Even with me.
And even
I have to like pry stuff out of her.
And she's like my closest
Yeah.
friend. And I've known her for 7 years, and so you'd think, but I'm still just like really, really private. But Maddie's like that kind of friend that, sorry, I gotta set my coffee mug down for this. She's that kind of friend that like no matter how hard you don't want her to be in your heart, I want her to be in my heart, but like see my heart, she just like takes these pliers
like-
and just like a crane, just like
and just like I get one arm in, and I'm like, I'm in.
she can reach anyone's soul. Like
Oh, you're
there's so
sweet.
many people that have said that about her, but
Yeah, I
think
just
that's why we
wiggle
work
my
too.
way into people.
So y'all kind of yin and yang.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about that, because I feel like a lot of women do have a hard time opening up. Like, what is it that when is it being vulnerable? Is it like putting yourself out there, like because you know people can be so harsh, and like
Absolutely.
the feedback, or letting someone in and giving them the ability to judge you on something that maybe you don't want anyone else's opinion
Yeah, I
on?
think it's a little bit of all that. Just knowing the risk of, okay, I'm about to tell all these people this is what my heart looks like. How are they going to receive that? Are they going to like it, or are they going to hate it? And you know, people are very open about their opinions and how they feel, and sometimes it's not easy
And they can be mean.
Exactly, and it's not easy to shut those things out. So I think that it's a little bit of all of that, just like the fear. But Maddie and I have gotten to the point where, you know, the people that like us are going to like this, and those that don't.
Totally. I feel
That's
like you've
fine.
opened up a lot the past
have.
year too.
It's-
She's opened up so much.
Yeah, just everything we've gone through with our career in the past year has definitely taught me a lot about just being secure in myself, and the things that I go through are just going to make me better.
And asking for help. I think that's
Yes.
another
That's
problem women
hard
do
to-
not do.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I had to figure that out the hard way, because our first year, like out and about, like
Because you guys
2000
came onto the scene and y'all came in with Girl in a Country Song
Yeah.
and blew this world up.
Aw, you're
I mean,
sweet.
truly,
Right.
because that was the first song in this bro era, which for all you guys listening, I don't know if people outside of Nashville know this, but there's like this bro thing happening where all these it's like the bro club. It's,
Yeah.
Talk to me
It's
about
just-
that and how your song changed that, because y'all really did something very different that was probably very scary to put out there.
The interesting
Terrifying.
part
Yeah.
with Girl in a Country Song was when we turned that song in, there was a couple people in the industry that told us that it could not be played on radio, and no one would ever play it, no one would ever support it because it was too much. It was
Because
like,
basically you're saying,
yeah, where we were just like, hey, every chick in these songs that are being played on the radio are in some bikini. They're not saying anything. They just look hot, and all the music videos is these freaking girls with perfect bodies like climbing out of the lake, and I'm like, what the frick? Like, that is not real. Like, let's be real
Absolutely.
here. And then
Absolutely.
they're just like doting over the guy, and I'm just like, ew, that it's just ugh.
But it's crazy because that conversation alone, someone looking at us and telling us that Girl in a Country Song could never see the light of day, could have stopped our career right there. In that
exactly.
moment. We could have
Especially
been
because you're so young, so new, so
Yeah.
impressionable at that
And we
time.
were 18 when we wrote the song.
Vulnerable and like
Probably some
naive.
guy told you that, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Some old dude probably told you that.
And so someone looking you in the eye when you're just like wanting to impress everyone and make a print on this town, which is so hard to do, we could have just said, okay, you know what, we tried, we're going to go home. But instead we were like, no, we really think this message needs to be heard. So,
So did y'all push for it?
Oh yeah,
We played it out at a round
Yeah,
and-
we played it at a round, and then we got a record deal. So it was like, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the thing. There was mixed feelings. Where it was like, there's some people that were like, "Don't play it. Like, that's gonna be a mess," and then some people were like, just try it, whatever. So and then when we started playing it out, like before we got on the road, there was times where we were in a writers' round with men that had written songs like that, and it was so awkward for them because it was like we played this song, and they're like, "Oh crap! Like my song is totally like." Just making a woman look like just a little side piece, like and she's not valued. And you know what, I'll tell you, when I turn on country radio now, and we're not the reason for this, I think there's just so many conversations that have been started the past like 5 years about equality and empowerment for women and everything, but I haven't heard any of those songs in a long time.
Country
Where I
music
just
is
felt like as a
at a good
woman,
spot.
because like my thing is, I'm such a country music fan. I want to be a fan of all the guys, all the girls. I want to be a fan
Yes.
of everyone. But when I would hear these songs, like 4 years ago when we wrote Girl, I was like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that chick.
Because
I have
that's not
something to
us.
say.
Yeah, it's unrealistic.
I want to have value. I don't just want to be some little, because I don't look like the model in that video. I don't relate to, you know what I mean? Like, and you don't.
And that's not what you're going for. You want to
Right.
go for your talent. You have a
Your brain,
message. You
like-
have your brain.
Totally.
So you guys wanted to show your empowered side, which
Totally.
is sometimes hard to figure out. Like, I know in my 20s, I would get so much praise and I would be sexy. And I actually had a friend, a young friend of mine that I just had lunch with the other day, who's like making her way in the music industry. And she's just naturally very sexy. She loves to dance.
Right.
That's her thing. But it's like, how do you navigate that? Because that whole being sexy and being empowered, I think you can do them both.
Absolutely.
But it is like back in how it used to be the boys club, it's girls are sexy, that's it.
Yeah.
And we don't really care about what you have to say.
My advice would be, or at least the way that I don't really give off like a sultry vibe. I'm more of like just a friend, like a very like friend zoney vibe with guys, but like
a bro.
Yeah, like I'm kind of friend zoney. But with that stuff, I would say like pick your moments. So it's like if
I love
on
that.
a
Yeah.
red carpet you feel like, you know what, I really want to feel sexy. There's been times where I'm like, I tell our stylist, I'm like, I want to feel sexy. I want to feel like a woman, and like I don't really have a ton of curves, but I just want to show, like not show everything.
You just
I just
feel
want to
good
feel sexy
and feel sexy.
But then like when we walk into a radio station, and most of country radio is really great about this. Like it's not, we haven't ran into it as much as most. We've ran into it a couple times, but when I know that we're going into a radio station, it's a business thing. It's like, this is our work. I'm like, I'm not going to have my boobs out. I'm not going to wear booty shorts, because for me, I don't feel sexy that way. I feel sexy when they are listening to what I have to say.
Right.
And I feel sexy when they are like really grasping the message. So it's like, know when to know what your sexy is for each environment. So it's like
That is
with
great
your man,
advice.
it's like with your man, it's one thing. With your girlfriends, it's one thing. Because like her and I, we would, like when we went to Jamaica for this show that we were doing, it was like a thing for a radio station. I was like, girl, I'm gonna wear a bathing suit. I'm gonna have my booty cheeks out. Because it was like, there wasn't a ton of people. It wasn't businessy or anything. But when it was time for business, it was like, I want them to pay attention to my brain. Not
And
my
I
body.
think to also
I
echo
love
that
that.
and play a little bit of devil's advocate, because there's two sides of it all.
Yeah.
For women, because I'm very much on the same side of her, as where I feel most confident when people are understanding me and I feel like they're listening to me and viewing me as, an equal and not as a sexual being.
Yeah.
But for some women, it's, they want to rely on their sexuality and they want to rely on their attractiveness and their looks, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I think if that's also the route you take, being comfortable and just knowing that your strengths and what you choose to put out there, just rock it. Like, don't put it out there and then take it back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like be
Own what you are.
whatever it
Yeah.
is. If it's your sexuality, if it's your writing, if it's your singing, if you just want to play guitar, like whatever it is, just stick to that and know that that's your strength, and don't be afraid that that is your strength.
Right.
And that also brings me to another thing I really want to focus on, which is soulful living. Like living from your soul. Feeling like you are living
It's so much
your
harder.
passion.
It is harder, I feel, that way, because you have to dig in every day. You have to dig
How
in.
do you do that? Okay, so explain to me, because you girls have been through so much. You've been you've top of the world superstars, and then you've seen like transition. You've seen everything.
It's been
Which is what this industry is, and
Oh, for
everyone just
sure.
sees the highlight reel. But now with Instagram, I actually feel like people are getting to see more of the real
Yeah,
stuff, which
totally.
is great. But how do
Totally.
you get to your soul and live from your soul every day? Like, what are your techniques to do that without getting lost in this world?
That's a great question. I think for me, the way that I recharge in general is my alone time, and I also find that my alone time and being quiet with myself is also how I reach my soul. And you're just able to listen to your own thoughts, which I think is important, because we live in a society where it's very easy to be persuaded or pressured to think a certain way or have a certain opinion.
Totally.
And you kind of forget, wait, what is my own opinion on this? Do I even have a feeling, or is it swayed by what someone else thinks? So I think just taking the time to listen to yourself.
Totally. And see, I'm opposite. So we've done like
See,
the
we can
Enneagram
give
and
you
the
both.
Myers
What are
signs.
y'all? So like, who are you guys? I did the Enneagram too.
I'm number 2. I'm the helper.
Okay.
What are you?
I'm number 4, the romantic. So I'm like an
Ooh,
emotional.
my
boyfriends are romantic.
Yeah, he's a 4.
Gosh.
And she's a 9.
I'm a 9.
You're a
But so-
peacemaker.
Yes,
See,
she's
you
a
know
peacemaker.
yourself. My
Yeah.
mom made me, like our whole family, take the Enneagram, and then we all had to compare.
It's
I
changed my
loved
life.
it.
It's changed
But
my life.
It has?
So
Yeah.
for me, I'm like so extroverted, and I like this is how my soul gets filled. Like
get
just talking
yeah.
about this. So like the way that I like, if there's something wrong or I'm like hurting or something, if I talk to someone and I like talk it out, I feel great. Like our manager Haley, she has been one of the most influential people in our career and just one of our favorite people to be around. But she has this system with me where she knows when I'm upset, and so she's like, let's just talk about it. Like, I'll just call you, da, da, da. And I'm like, oh no, you're busy. And then I just like talk it out. She's like,
And then
then you're good. You're good. You're not having a meltdown. You're totally good. No breakdown. I'm like, oh yeah, I just needed to say it. I just
get it
needed
out.
to get it out there.
You have a backboard
But
of someone
also,
who has good knowledge.
Yes, and I love like getting like I feel like when I get to know someone else's heart, I like get to know mine a little more too.
Oh,
like with how
I see that.
do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like,
Because you see similarities, and you're like, oh, okay, this
Yes.
is soul living. 'Cause
Totally.
we're connecting on this.
yeah.
heart
What is your
level.
thing? I'm curious because I want to integrate. Like I need to do alone time. I'm just really bad at it because I love to be around people. I don't like being by myself. Very needy. Like
Fours are interesting.
Fours are a handful.
Fours
Yeah.
are a handful, but I envy you guys because y'all, I don't know if every four is this way, but reading y'all's, obviously, I read on it just to know my boyfriend better, but it says that y'all are very comfortable, not comfortable is the wrong word, but you are aware of your feelings. And
So
when you feel
aware of my
something-
feelings.
Exactly. And see, as a 9, I'm like, oh gosh, I push it away. It's like it doesn't exist. So I envy that side of you guys. I think that's so impressive that you're able to look at your heart
like
and be
you
like,
know I am feeling this.
Exactly.
Because I
And you don't shy
start
away from it.
acting some kind of way and I'm like, why am I acting like this? And it takes
Like this
me,
isn't
like,
my. This I'm not.
This is
That's
not
another
me.
thing. Can break that down because I feel like so many people do that. I do that too as a 4.
Yeah.
Also, but it's like I can easily figure out what somebody needs from me, or if someone has a very big personality, I can
Yeah.
easily be like, okay, this is your personality. How can I fit into your vibe?
Totally.
But then I
Right.
lose myself, so I'm trying not
I'm
to
the
do
same
that.
way.
Yes,
Yeah, I get like that too, where like I want to accommodate, or like I just, or like for example, I won't like say names, but we went and played this show like a week ago, and there was like one guy that had like a really big personality, and he meant well, but he kept just doing like weird stuff, like saying real weird things, and so I was like, how can I like not make you look so uncomfortable because you are being uncomfortable, but like how can I
Yes.
make it to where this isn't as awkward as it actually is, like, you know what I
Right.
mean? And so I feel like I'm always trying to accommodate that, like even if it's someone else is being weird, I'm like, oh, it's all
Yeah,
good.
no, she's
Or,
really
like,
good about that.
yes.
If someone's saying, even if I'm saying something, like, and she's like, what she means is, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks for clearing that
like,
up.
I just wanted your message to get across.
Exactly. Like, she's really good about
But
that.
part of me is like, why am I trying to cater to everyone? Like, why can't I just walk in?
'Cause we're women.
I know. Why do women do that? What
I
is
don't
that?
know.
What
Maybe
is
it's
that?
like a motherly
My
thing
mom was
within
like that
us.
too. Like she caters to every single person but herself. But now she is, you know, in her 50s.
What
and
happened in her 50s? How did she? What?
She went through a lot of stuff. So my grandfather passed away in February, and so
Her
like,
dad.
Yeah, her dad. And so that kind of and she's just been through a lot. Like her brother passed away really tragically a couple years ago, and she's
She's a
just
tough cookie.
she's just a tough
She
cookie,
is.
and she's super mom and super wife, and just like always extra mile. Everything. She works full time and like has a huge position at an oil and gas company in Houston. So she works with like all men. Like it's like her and one other woman.
She
That's
just handles it.
She's just the best. But growing up, I saw her and your mom too, because
Yeah.
she's the same way. But your mom just does so much, and dads do a lot too. But,
But
like,
women can multitask and do it all at
Yeah,
the same time. Men can
totally.
do like one thing.
And the thing is, like men, I feel, or like with my dad, he can do one thing so freaking well.
Perfectly, like
So
kill
perfect.
it, like put so much focus in it
Yes.
and crush it.
And then
Yeah.
mom does like 10 things and like 5 of them are great, you know,
Yeah.
because there's 5 other things that she just doesn't have time for. You know
Right,
what
and
I
then
mean?
that's why women are always like spinning plates
Just
and stressed all the
Wearing
time.
so many hats.
So many hats.
Totally. Do you feel like with your husband, like you have to like delegate where it's like, okay, I have literally 15 things I need to like just like, can you do this? Can you do this? I know I normally do it, but can you do this for me?
With Michael, it's really interesting because he's an artist, obviously.
Right.
Wait, what's
So-
his Enneagram?
He is a 7.
That's good. That's a
Gotcha.
good
Yes.
vibe, right?
Which is great because he is the good time guy. He, what is the 7 called? It's called
Not the achiever.
it's like adventure or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, totally.
Basically, it's like he wants to have a good time. all the time.
Yeah.
If he can avoid hitting on to heavy, deep topics, he's going to. He will go into, and like I will force him to go
But it's just
down
not his-
the rabbit hole.
And that's why you work so well together.
Because I basically force him into therapy with me every day.
Yeah,
Because I just
good.
chat it out with, like, not
the
me
same way.
as the therapist.
Yeah.
Let me help you.
That's why I'm like, for me, like I've like thought about going to therapy because I just hear amazing things, and it could just be.
I
like,
did go to therapy and it changed my life.
See, I feel like
great.
I need to do it,
Have
but
a
at
great
the
therapist.
same time, I'm like, I talk so much about how I'm feeling to people. Like, it's like my dad's kind of my therapist. My mom, she is.
Yeah.
But I need to like actually do that one day. But
should.
Michael and I
I
went to
recommend it.
therapy together. Before we got married, we went to therapy together because we were together 4 years. We broke up 2 years, and then we got back together. And I was like,
Was it premarital or was it just-
premarital?
Oh,
Because
okay.
then we eloped. And so I was like,
yeah, that's
talk
what
to me
she
about
wants
that.
to do.
You gotta elope. I'll tell you everything. Okay, we'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
But I was like, I had helped myself so much with therapy because I was going like every week for a year when we were broken up, and he was like growing in his own way. But I was basically like, we're not getting back together and gonna do this if we don't get our heads right.
Totally. So smart.
This therapist is amazing because she broke our personalities down to 3 people. She's like, you have your wounded child, and her name is Susie, and she's at the estuary.
everyone has the wounded child.
You have your wounded
Sure.
child. What happened to you when you were a child that like imprinted you, scarred you, like hurt you so badly that your middle chair manipulator is trying to avoid that pain at all costs? So your middle chair manipulator is spinning plates trying to never touch on those hot buttons. But then you come over here to your third chair, which is your truth chair, and that's just the truth. What is real?
The facts.
Wow.
The facts. And so
Oh,
she would
wow.
make Michael and I go through all of our stuff.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, oh, you're talking from your first chair. So we'd have to go sit in the first chair. And she'd be like, now what would your truth chair say? And she'd make us go walk and sit in the truth chair until we could figure out what our truth was. And that was so
awesome.
helpful. It was so helpful just to like realize I have so many people up in here and most of them are crazy. But here's the truth.
I mean, the way you compartmentalizing to me is like it fixes everything.
Everything.
Like, when
Totally.
you're able to view things as they are and different, so it's not just one jumbled mess that you're looking at. That's
And you're
so
not
smart.
just like chatting, you're actually getting
Yeah.
tools to help yourself. So you're like, oh, I'm in my middle chair manipulator. And
Totally.
we'd do that. We'd be like, oh, you're in your middle
You
chair
still
right
do
now.
that?
We really don't anymore because we've gotten so good
Yeah,
now at just
right,
like living
right.
this life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But we'd be like, in the beginning, it'd be like, oh, you're in your middle chair.
Totally.
Oh, shoot, I'm in my middle chair.
I know.
And then
I
you'd be like,
look
ugh.
forward to doing that. Like, I really want to do that whole thing because I've been with my guy for 7 years.
You should go to my
And they-
therapist.
yeah.
I know. And
We all have a
so,
similar story.
yeah, so we were together in high school for a year, broke up for a year, and then got back together, and it was like on. Like,
Okay.
we were like, in
How
it to
did
win
you
it.
how did you handle your fame exploding and your career exploding while navigating this relationship?
So he knew me when I went to my first like vocal lesson before I even met Tae. Like him and I were dating.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like he loves who I am, not what I do. So it's really nice
Perfect.
to like come home and he just doesn't. Like, he's proud, but he doesn't really care.
Right.
And you know he's like super supportive and everything. But for him, he's just like, go do your thing, like go do you. But I will say, with being together for so long, we have figured out that both of us have amazing parents, but obviously every person goes through different childhood memories and things kind of pop up
Yeah.
or things will trigger, you know, hard memories, great memories, you know, stuff like that. And so we have been figuring out like our 7th year, I feel like, is all about digging that stuff up and like talking about it. Like I know like there's certain things that if I do, like it brings him back to his childhood of like really hurt things, and I like can't do that. Like I,
Right.
like that's
It's a
something-
trigger.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
same with me. But I never really thought about that until like this year. We've been just like sitting down with a bottle of wine and just
Doing the
talking
work.
about totally like doing the dirty work where you just get in there. And that's the one thing with like Instagram. Everyone's like, oh, relationship goals. I'm like, it's not relationship goals until you dig deep in there. You know what I mean?
Amen to that.
Yeah.
And so many people, I feel like, don't do that with their relationship.
Yes.
And so then they end up being in love with this person. And obviously, some people, like, you date and it's not a match and you should break up.
Right.
But if you go to the point where you're going the distance, you're thinking about
Totally.
marriage, you're in this thing to win it, I feel like so many people don't do that digging.
Yeah.
But really, that is what's going to, I feel like, save you in the long run because it's going to come out. It's totally
Totally.
going to come out.
Love
You
is
know?
so much more than like
Sex.
googly eyes.
Yes.
So funny. Yeah, totally. Sex, googly eyes, butterflies, like, and that's also why Enneagram changed my life, because when you're able, for me, if I was to like get in a disagreement with somebody, I would take everything that they said very personally, but like, oh, like I'm sensitive, that hurt my feelings, and I would make it all about me and not realizing that that's just their personality. If they want to take things, you know what I mean? Like,
It's not-
if they
it's-
wanna,
it's them,
it
not
has nothing
you.
to do with me.
It has
Their
nothing to do
view,
with
their
you.
perspective, their way of looking at things
Yeah.
has nothing to do with me. And that was something about the Enneagram that I've learned, because I know my parents' Enneagram, I know hers, I know like my brother's.
She'll be like, "You're being such a you guys. I love that you guys did this."
It's like changed my life, and I've been able to love people in a way that I've never been able to.
Because you're able to see how
Where you
they're
understand them and
Yeah.
love and cherish them for all of their quirks.
and realize
Which is
that
so
y'all
important.
don't match on all the
you
same
don't have
levels,
to.
and you don't have to.
You know what? I feel like both of us have learned a lot the past couple years, and for me, this was really hard because I like grew up in Texas in a very conservative household. Like my dad's very strong, like very, very just like hard-headed, like in a great way.
Yeah,
but like
just that Texas man.
Yeah, that Texas stubbornness all up in my family. But I have learned like make relationships with people that are opposite of you. So like don't just hang out with people that are like you. Don't just hang out with cultures, with with your career, with whatever it is.
Right.
Like mix it up. Always put someone different and new in your life, and like try to learn from them. Because
Yeah.
I totally was guilty of just hanging out with people that were like me because I understood them.
Exactly.
And then
it didn't challenge you, and it
yeah,
didn't scare you.
and then
yeah.
for us, like going through as much as we've been through the past 2 years, I was like, I have to understand her. Like I know when I was hurting, I needed to call her and tell her I was hurting, and she listened to me. And I was always like, why isn't she telling me what's wrong? And she's like, the way that I deal is like,
Yeah.
she needs her time, and then she'll call me when it's
You have
time.
to fully
Exact-
process
I
it.
internalize
Yeah.
everything.
So what is that like? What goes on when you're processing?
So basically, like, what do you mean? Like when something,
Okay, so say
when
something
happens.
Something happens that was not desirable. Say like a big career speed bump happens.
Totally.
That like
Okay.
you're not wanting to happen.
Yeah.
So immediately I go in my brain. I feel like it's Maddie and I talk about this movie all the time, but Inside Out.
Yes, you have a kids movie Inside Out.
Okay,
Oh my gosh, you have to watch it. You have to watch
Okay,
it.
so it's a movie, and it's basically about this girl and all of the emotions that live inside your head. It sounds so crazy. Wow. I don't have different
But
personalities.
it's genius.
We all
But
have different
it's
personalities.
totally
Don't worry.
genius.
So it's like animated, and it's all the little like emotions in your head. So anger, happy, sad, hungry, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's easy for me to kind of go inside, because I can't, if someone says something to me and I need to like respond in a very mature, kind, smart way, like I can't do it right away. I
You gotta
have to
process it.
think about it. I have to think of the best route. Like I analyze every situation. I'm like, okay, I could say this, but then it might lead to this. I could do this, but then it might lead to that. So I literally, in my mind, I have to go down every road and what it would look like long term before I react to anything.
I wish I did that.
Me
It
too.
is. I'm just
Gosh,
like,
you're so smart.
No, y'all. I'm just like,
No, y'all.
you asshole. No,
It's
you're not. No, I'm just kidding.
Same.
I'll just
swear.
say it with a smile, though. I'll be like, you're an asshole.
But in the fault in that is it can make people think that I'm disinterested or that I'm not hurting, because a lot of
Yeah.
the times you probably thought that I don't feel the same way as you.
Oh no,
but
I
just-
knew, but I
you
was
knew.
just like waiting
But I
until
just
she
wasn't as
told
vocal.
me.
Yeah. So a lot of the times it can make people think that I'm just like really upset or really angry or I don't care. But in
really, your
reality,
mind has exploded.
In reality,
Totally.
I've exploded, and once I figure out which lane I'm gonna take, then I will react.